Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Willow has faced some of the most heartbreaking and complicated turns on General Hospital, but nothing prepares her for the shocking revelation that her late uncle Nathan still carries weight in Port Charles. The story of family connections, loyalty, betrayal, and redemption takes another turn when Nina's brother's name re-enters the fold, making Willow question what family truly means and who she can trust when everything feels like it's shifting beneath her feet. For so long, Willow has lived in a cycle of secrets, lies, medical battles, and uncertain loyalties. But the next wave of drama forces her to look at Nathan not as a ghost from Nina's past, but as someone whose legacy still impacts her own choices in the present day. The conversation about Nathan's place in the family has always been complicated. Nathan was one of the very few bright spots in Nina's chaotic life, a man who balanced duty and compassion, someone who represented what could have been if tragedy hadn't stolen him too soon. For Willow, who has spent most of her life without a stable family, the idea that Nathan might stand as a symbolic uncle figure, even in memory, opens a door to a new kind of conflict. Willow is caught between her instinctive mistrust of Nina and the unavoidable truth that Nina's family ties are now her family ties too, whether she wants them or not. This isn't simply about looking back at Nathan's history. It's about the living, breathing consequences of what he represented. Nina finds herself in the middle of a tug-of-war, desperate to cling to whatever sense of family she can hold, while Willow struggles to define how much she's willing to accept from the same woman she's tried so hard to keep out of her life. The tension grows sharper when conversations in Port Charles remind Willow that Nathan wasn't just Nina's brother. He was part of a legacy of law enforcement, integrity, and sacrifice, and those qualities may push Willow to reconsider whether she can embrace part of her extended family without fully forgiving Nina. For Michael, this is a dangerous balancing act. He knows how fragile Willow's heart is, how much she's endured from cancer treatments, endless stress, and Nina's constant interference in their lives. He's fiercely protective, yet he also sees the value in Willow finally gaining some peace through acceptance. But the risk is enormous. If Willow opens herself up to Nathan's memory and, by extension, Nina's influence, could it undo the walls they've built to keep Nina at arm's length? Michael wrestles with his own fears, even as he tries to stand by Willow's side. Nina herself faces the ultimate test. She has begged for love, for forgiveness, for a place at the table with Willow and her grandchildren. She's been denied time and again, often for good reason, because her mistakes have cost her dearly. But Nathan's presence gives her one more card to play. She can lean on her brother's memory, a reminder of what family could look like if Willow chooses not to reject every part of her mother-in-law's bloodline. Nina's emotions will be raw, sometimes manipulative, sometimes genuine, but always intense. She may push too hard, bringing Nathan into every conversation, reminding Willow that cutting her off entirely means cutting off a tie to a man who represented so much good. The guilt and pressure could weigh heavily on Willow, testing her strength in ways she never imagined. Other characters in Port Charles will not sit silently as this unfolds. Maxie still grieves Nathan in her own way, raising James with the bittersweet knowledge that his father was one of the best men to ever walk into her life. Maxie may become an unexpected voice of reason, urging Willow to see that Nathan would have wanted peace in the family, that he wouldn't want his name used as a weapon in an ongoing feud. But at the same time, Maxie carries her own resentment toward Nina, frustration over how often Nina makes everything about her. This could leave Maxie torn between honoring Nathan's memory and protecting Willow from Nina's emotional manipulation. On the other side, Liesl Albrecht has always held Nathan as her redemption, the son she cherished even when she failed as a mother in so many ways. Liesl may see Willow's connection to Nathan as a way to strengthen ties with her as well. For Liesl, Nathan's memory is sacred, a reminder that even someone like her could have raised a son who grew into a truly good man. Liesl might push for Willow to accept Nathan as a symbolic protector in her life, someone whose values she can look to in moments of doubt. But Liesl's involvement also carries the risk of deepening Willow's unease, since trust is not something Willow gives easily, and Liesl's own history is far from clean. The timing of Nathan's reemergence in conversations is not accidental. As Willow continues to heal physically and emotionally, the writers push her into uncharted territory, navigating motherhood, her marriage to Michael, and the strained dynamic with Nina, all while learning that family ties cannot be cleanly severed just because you want them to be. Every moment Willow spends thinking about Nathan forces her to ask whether she's ready to embrace the complexity of family instead of chasing the illusion of simplicity. Her past taught her to run from toxic connections, but the present dares her to face them head-on. Even Carly finds herself drawn into the mess. Carly has been one of Willow's fiercest allies, pushing her to set firm boundaries with Nina and never let her guard down. But Carly also knows what it's like to lose people, to regret choices, and to see the importance of honoring family, even when it's messy. Carly may find herself torn, reluctant to give Nina any advantage, but also unable to deny that Nathan's memory deserves respect. If Willow wants to connect to Nathan's legacy, Carly may have to swallow some pride and allow it, even if it feels like handing Nina a partial victory. The dramatic tension intensifies as secrets resurface. Conversations about Nathan lead to questions about his life, his choices, and his role as Nina's brother. Willow may stumble upon letters, photos, or even stories from those who knew Nathan best, painting a portrait of a man who stood for everything she wishes her family could be. The emotional weight of discovering that such goodness existed in Nina's family line will shake Willow's resolve. She's tried so hard to define herself against Nina, to refuse any connection. But what happens when the connection is tied to someone genuinely admirable? That paradox fuels one of the most compelling conflicts Willow has faced. The looming question of what Nathan would have thought about Nina's actions, especially the lies and betrayals that drove Willow further away. Would Nathan have stood by his sister, or would he have been appalled at how much damage she caused in pursuit of what she wanted? Willow may be haunted by that very question, imagining conversations with the uncle she never truly knew. Those internal struggles will play out on screen, with Willow torn between the imagined Nathan, who could be her guide, and the reality of Nina, who constantly disappoints her. For Nina, every move is dangerous. If she pushes too hard, she risks alienating Willow forever. If she steps back, she risks losing the one chance to use Nathan's memory as a bridge. She will try both approaches, sometimes breaking down in tears about her lost brother, sometimes reminding Willow of the sacrifices Nathan made as a police officer, sometimes quietly leaving mementos behind in the hope that Willow will be moved. The audience will see Nina's desperation in full force, a woman clawing at the last shreds of her family identity, knowing that without Willow's acceptance, she is always on the outside looking in. Michael's protective instincts may explode if he senses Nina exploiting Nathan's memory for her own gain. Michael has no tolerance for manipulation where Willow is concerned, and if he feels Nina is crossing the line, the war between them could reignite in even harsher ways. Michael wants to shield Willow, but he also understands that she must make her own choices, and his struggle to balance those instincts will be a source of ongoing tension in their marriage. Even Sonny may weigh in, given his complicated ties to Nina. Sonny could encourage her to stop pressing so hard, to let Willow come around on her own. But Nina rarely listens when emotions take over. Sonny's role could be to provide perspective, reminding everyone that Nathan's memory should be honored without being weaponized. Yet, Sonny's closeness to Nina may make Michael bristle, further deepening the divide between father and son. As Willow continues this journey, the ultimate question becomes whether she can separate Nathan's memory from Nina's actions. Can she honor the uncle she never got to know without opening the door for Nina to once again destabilize her life? Or does embracing Nathan inevitably mean giving Nina exactly what she wants, a permanent place in Willow's family? The battle lines are drawn not in physical fights but in whispered conversations, strained family gatherings, and late-night reflections where Willow stares at photos and wonders what her life could look like if Nathan had lived. The long-term implications of this story are immense. If Willow chooses to embrace Nathan's memory, it could start a slow thaw in her relationship with Nina, opening the door for a tentative peace that shifts the balance of power in Port Charles. If she rejects the connection, it could drive Nina to even more reckless choices, escalating her desperation and creating fallout that touches Michael, Carly, Sonny, Liesl, and Maxie. Either way, Nathan's name once again holds the power to change everything. As the weeks unfold, audiences will see Willow tested in ways she never has been before, facing the challenge of reconciling family ties with self-protection. Nathan becomes more than a memory. He becomes a mirror, reflecting both what Willow longs for and what she fears. Nina, Michael, Maxie, Liesel, Carly, and Sunny all become players in a story that asks whether family can ever truly be chosen, or if blood ties will always find a way to pull you back, no matter how hard you try to escape. And in the end, Willow's decision whether to embrace her late Uncle Nathan as part of her family identity or to keep the walls firmly in place will not only define her relationship with Nina but also shape the future of the Corinthos and Reeves families for years to come. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.